This is DG Chichester, and you're listening to the Capes and Lunatics podcast.
Welcome back to another episode of the Chichester Chats. It's me, Phil. Lilith is here. Justin the Owl is here. And, of course, that media mogul himself. It is Mr. DG Chichester.
Hey, folks. It's good to see you on a Wednesday night. What else can you do? Midweek. It makes Wednesdays tolerable. It makes the whole week worth waiting for. So here we are.
The Capes and Lunatics. It makes things tolerable. All right, so yes, we're going to get tonight. We're going to get to Javustis, number 12.
Javistis.
You know what?
As Margaret Clark called it. Yes, Javistis.
You know what? It's so funny because I was at the comic shop like a week or two ago, and I didn't have any of these issues. I bought up the issue. I bought 1 through 12 just because we were talking about 12 tonight. And the younger guy who's ringing these up looked at the older guy behind the counter, and he was like, "Is this in there under? Is that a U or a V?"
Yes, exactly.
I'm like, per the guy that wrote this issue.
one of those logo disasters. But I can't remember who designed it, but was not one of their finest
multiple
hours.
logos too, right? There was like 2 or 3 different ones, and they were all doing the same thing with the V. Yeah,
I guess. Yeah, it's like stick with it. Just make it. Yeah, she always called it Chavistis.
It's a new universe. Make that V edgy.
Exactly. It's the V outside your window.
Whoa! But anyway, but before we dive into that, I know we were while we were waiting for Justin. You, me, and Lilith were talking about the Disney layoffs, including Marvel, also was part of that.
Yes,
right. Yeah,
that's the real world outside your window. That's the reality. That's the new universe. So yeah, that calls for Javistis, but yeah, it feels terrible for all those people. I mean, whether they're just awful situations. You just see, like, when you think about the money that's been made, it's just crazy. I saw one guy post something. He was literally laid off in a conference room in front of like the mural that he
it was like
had
for
painted.
the Loki show or something.
Yeah. So it's great.
Wow.
That's corporate cluelessness,
Yeah, did I see was it all across all of Disney? It's like 1,000 people they laid off or something.
Yeah, but it's savaging. It looks like entire departments.
Oh yeah,
I'm starting to think that deal with AI did go through. I think they're lying.
Oh, the Sora thing? Yeah, maybe. Those Sora is awful, so it doesn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, because isn't like they were talking like the people who do the visuals? Was it for the TV or the movies or both? I don't know, but they said they basically just have like a skeleton crew there, just to help prep for the next time a project comes around.
Project managers to sort of like hire other, whatever visual effects artists, and certainly even the committed visual effects department was stretched thin and inconsistent with some of the more recent productions.
So what, we're just going to hire freelancers anytime there's a new TV show or movie coming out?
I guess. I mean, you could hire, that wouldn't not make sense. I mean, that's certainly what any production would do.
Cheaper.
But if you don't have a committed group, you don't have, say, the knowledge base or the whatever same vision of say how a flying effect works or other things. So the libraries may be there, but you're going to come in with different bids, different things. I don't know. It's just but it's really about people's lives and careers.
Yeah.
These people have done things for years and years and years, and they probably loved what they were doing, right? They love the fact they're working for Disney. They love the fact they're working for Marvel, and there's passion there. And then suddenly, but companies, corporate culture eats creative people. And dismisses them. It just happens again and again and again. And then the suits or whatever else stay in place at astronomical salaries. And
get bonuses.
what do they?
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And
Going
get
in
bonuses for doing
parachutes.
this. Right,
Yeah.
right.
Hey,
You
try.
get a bonus for doing a bad job, so it's like,
Hey, you try living on $40 million a year. Come on.
Right.
Only
Well, it's like
one
David-
private jet.
They're suffering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
David Zaslav, right?
the
the guy who
G3, not
created-
even a G4. Come on.
Right, exactly.
What was the
see.
justification that they gave for the layoff?
New CEO, new sheriff in
They
town.
want
Basically,
more.
That's
They
what
want
that
more
was
money.
about. Yeah.
Yeah.
Profits over people, babe. Sorry.
Do we need to? I don't
Get
think they.
Tom
I don't think
Cruise
I'll
they.
be so
Tropic
glad when
Thunder.
capitalism is over.
Do they
Yeah.
even need a justification anymore? They're just like, no, we're gonna do what we feel like it.
Yeah, no, that it literally happens anytime a new CEO comes in. They're
True.
like, oh, where can we cut the talent? Yes, people that actually know what they're doing. C-suite, we're good. We get bonuses. Yeah, it sucks.
Yep.
Almost as if the consumer doesn't have as much disposable income or something.
Oh,
Let's not
absolutely
even
not.
get started on that.
I mean, very much like you could see that when I was in Richmond. Just at the GalaxyCon, you could see the
Oh.
limits
yeah.
on people's spending and being much more conscious of the money they could put out. Which all due respect to that, but you just see that immediately. Attendance, what they could spend, and that's only going to get worse.
Yeah.
Happy show. So.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Sorry, we're Americans. Our world's on fire right now. Sorry.
Oh,
That's
We're
okay.
setting the tone
Least
for
we're-
the new universe.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactly. See, that was Shooter's thing. He's always like, let it reflect reality. So you're right.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. We're getting ourselves
The
right in
fact
there.
that 40 years later.
Yeah,
We're
right.
catching up. Mhm.
all right. So I guess yes, we can get the Javastis number 12. Javistis number 12.
Javistis.
Yes, Javistis. Yes. So this was you and Margaret Clark. 1987. So I'm trying to remember if we've nailed down the timeline. Is this one of your first Marvel work?
Yeah. I mean,
Main Marvel, yeah.
I mean, this took.
Well, this is before Epic too, isn't it?
This is before Epic.
Oh.
Yeah, this is before the Epic stuff.
Oh,
So this
it
was
is-
one of the first
okay.
published things. I think. Can't remember if this or West Coast Avengers was first, but this was we. It took us forever to pitch this, or pitch Howard Mackey, who is the editor. We thought we had an in with him a little bit because we were friendly with him, and we were trying to, get our. In mob speak, make our bones, I guess, and Howard was like, for some reason, and I love Howard. I'm friendly with Howard, but he was just so non-committal, to taking a pitch forever, and then finally kind of agreed to take the pitch, and then was non-committal forever about sort of buying it, and it didn't even feel like it was based on the quality or non-quality of it. It was just this slow walk, maybe just hoping we'd go away. I'm not sure what it was, but finally it was purchased as an inventory issue, as a the type of story that gets done and put in the drawer in case the schedule is affected, and that's what happened. So the fact that it ran was an unexpected bonus. And to some degree, Margaret and I had always suspected that this was a part of Archie Goodwin's decision-making process in giving us the Shadowline books, because Archie had created this one, and he created all the Shadowline books, and a lot of the Javistis Bible had sort of been thrown out almost immediately, and when we wrote this story, we tried to go back to his original concept and his original Bible, and so we always sort of thought, well, Archie must have seen what we did here and thought that we would treat his worlds with
it
more
went through
respect.
a couple of hands, this book.
But that was always our theory. But now we're reading it like it's such utter shit. I can't imagine, I mean, this is your one failure. You guys have redeemed me in my mind, over the time we've done this.
Mhm.
But this thing is indefensible, on almost every page. It is it's just
Can I ask why the McDonald's? That's been my burning question since reading this. What's the deal with the McDonald's in the background?
Oh.
The Mickey D's? I don't
Yeah.
know. I mean, I know that, you know, Margaret was always like she wasn't like a McDonald's fan, but I remember that was something, you know, that she had kind of come up with a little bit in rereading it. You know, I guess it was the whole combination of oddball, weird ass elements that are in the story. You know, there's some serial killer influence. There's some Law and Order influence. You know, it's you know, the only place it sort of comes alive is a little bit in when the characters like talking about defending the innocents a little bit, like the sword hand and the shield hand.
Yeah.
But I sort of feel like, oh, okay, I could see us writing that. I mean, I don't feel like it was changed. I don't feel like it was like savaged. I don't remember thinking, oh, it was totally rewritten. I have to take,
No,
you know,
it kind of fit in.
I have to,
It kind of fit in well because, like I said, I read the first 11 before this because I had never read this book before, and it's like they kind of, it seemed like they were doing like a theme shift because he was from this other dimension and he was trying to get back there to save it, and then like by the end of issue 11, it's kind of like, okay, well, that's a lost cause. That place has been taken over and brutalized by the villain, so he's basically just going to make his stand. He's going to make his stand on Earth. Yeah. So it's like I kind of figured this was an inventory issue, but I mean, just the way it's written, again, maybe I don't know if any tweaks were done to it, you know, just to fit it in. But I'm like, it seems that the way they were going, it kind of made sense. And two, it's like I think Archie wrote a few issues, and there was at least one or two other writers before you and Margaret jumped
Jerry
on here.
Conway, Jeff
Yeah.
Conway, right?
Yeah.
Yep. And then I think there's one line in there that we would have had to add after the fact, or maybe Howard added it or something, you know, and it was just like a reference to, I guess, what had just come before, you know.
Yeah.
But it was a tough read, you know, for me. I mean, I just found it like just flat and
well, I wonder too,
kind of hackneyed. I don't know, like what we were. I mean, we were early on, but it just feels even off compared to early on.
I mean, they gave you a project that wasn't fully, even after like 11, 12 issues, wasn't fully formed. So it's, you know,
still figuring out what they were doing.
Yeah, and we would have written this earlier, right?
Yeah,
you know, we would have written this. You know, we would have written this. I don't know when. You know, like early in the new universe. Whatever, you know, existence. I think the book had probably come out. We knew the Bible. We all had the Bible, you know, being on editorial staff, we could get the Bible. So we had read them all and we were familiar with it. And I think Archie had even like passed around, you know, the 3 or 4 concepts he came up with just to us, you know, for sort of, you know, POVs before he turned them into shooter. So we were familiar with it, but yeah, we would have written this, I don't know when, but you know, maybe like around the time Justice 4 or 5 would have come out, or certainly before, you know, it ran. Like, so it was written and it sat there, and I don't even know if Howard had it illustrated. He probably didn't. You know, he probably bought the story, had it there sitting, and then when it looked like the schedule was slipping on the issue overall, then he would have like committed to the artwork. Although sometimes editors would do the whole thing and then just have an inventory issue in full ready to go. So he could have done that too. I don't remember.
And so, and just from our previous talk, so it's like, yeah, you didn't know who the artist was going to be either. So you're like, you know, this thing could look like anything.
Right. And I don't think it looks bad.
No, it doesn't. It's a Tom
Tom Granberg.
Yeah,
and he's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've worked, you know, I worked on a few other things with him. I think he did the that What If Daredevil, you know, thing maybe.
Yeah.
But no, he's a solid artist. He's an artist. I mean, the storytelling's good. But I just think the story is like it's just all over the place. It just feels like it's like,
yeah. I just
you
wonder,
know, references.
Do you think Juvistus or whatever, however we want to say this, is, you think it's like at this point it's maybe the weakest of the New Universe books, because everything else, it seemed like there was a mission statement. Was it Shooter wanted everything in this line so more grounded than like the regular Marvel comics, and then this one, you know, it's like the origin. Oh, he comes from another dimension. It's like that's not like grounded.
Well, that was always the problem with Justice. Yeah, I mean, and that was the weird thing about it, is that Shooter bought into that, because everything else was something had happened in the real world. You know, something that affected it because of the big event, or somebody built like a robotic thing semi-based on real technology or anything like that. But yeah, this was the interdimensional stuff was definitely weird. But Archie had cachet, and I don't think Jim Shooter was going to reject an Archie Goodwin idea or proposal. But no, I can't blame the concept, because I remember liking the Bible, and I'm not being down on myself like
usually
I usually are, exactly. I just think it's just really weird how I couldn't glom onto anything. It just felt flat, and maybe that was, I don't know, I can't remember. Maybe there were changes to the script that made it that way, but without remembering that exactly, I have to take responsibility for it, with Margaret. So I mean, it's but I do remember, very consciously, that we went back to the Bible, and we were trying to kind of do justice to justice to Javistus, and in the sense of returning to Archie's vision, if you will. But it doesn't feel that way when I read it now. I mean, it just feels like it's just flat stuff, and the narration of he is a warrior, justice warrior like I am. Perhaps I can learn from him. It has this sense of like a foreign film that's been translated into English, and Dolph Lundgren is not narrating it. It's just
I almost want to check out the later issues, because I was reading up on this. I don't know how far into the series, but I think Peter David actually comes on and becomes the regular writer, because this thing really becomes regular, and I think I don't know if he kind of retcons some of that other dimensional
stuff. Doesn't he make
him
like that it's all in his head or something like that?
Yeah, or the villain has planted all this in his head, that he's not really
it's
the
a
other
mental
dimension.
disorder.
Yeah.
And I think Peter always did great work, or solid work, and this would have been one of those earlier things, certainly before the Hulk and such and Spider-Man took off for him. So I think on a title like this, that's a good thing, because it was probably past the point where anybody really cared, except maybe Shooter, and so you have that kind of carte blanche to do whatever you want. And if sometimes you can rescue a book with that, like Swamp Thing, or like this, you're running the clock out until they say goodbye. So it's a weird thing, the new universe, when you think about it, because the concepts weren't inherently bad, and yet it sort of exists now nowhere, right? I mean, there's no collections of it. There's no. Are there?
There might be a few. I don't know if they've ever reprinted the whole thing. I know a few years ago I got it was like a collection. It was like the first 10 issues of Starbrand or something. But
oh really? Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, wasn't Jim Shooter himself writing that? So I don't know if that's why that got pushed through. Because this is when he was
still with us. Too, briefly.
They did?
Well, yeah, wasn't it a few years ago?
Starbrand and Night Mask.
Oh yeah. They were doing some
briefly.
What was that? Was that Jason Aaron's Avengers? They were trying to bring some of those concepts back.
Yeah, like 2018 or 19 or something like that.
And they tried to pull them into the Marvel universe or something, or
I think so. Yeah, I think. There was an attempt
sense.
at least to break them through into that.
Or they were kind of like reworking them, almost like they were retcon, almost like they were always there or something. Or after a big cosmetic event, all of a sudden it's like.
Well, I would figure if DC, tried to did co-op all the Milestone stuff and drag them in whatever way they did, I would have thought, their IP, from corporate speak, right? Why not pull them in? And but they by and large have not. Just sort of like they're there.
I mean, I know, like once or twice, like Mark Grunwald kind of played with that, some of the characters a little bit in Quasar. When he was writing the Quasar.
Well, that's because Mark created,
DP7 and
DP7, right? Which probably the best of the bunch, and Mark wrote that one, as well. So I think, I mean, they weren't inherently bad ideas. They were just micromanaged by Shooter, and they became very toxic, within the building itself.
Yeah, no, because I don't know if like Peter David like found something with this character, because like I said, he did the whole retcon, and then like he brings back a version of Javistus in like Spider-Man 2099.
No, did he? Okay.
Yeah, because it was like a
Yeah.
mystery character, the Net Prophet, and they were like, "Oh, who is this?" Kind of teasing, "Oh, it's a character that's been around before," and then it turned out to be Javistus or a version of the Javistus.
I mean, why not? Peter liked his, internal universes
Oh
as
yeah,
much
he
as
always
anybody.
like
So
Easter eggs. Yeah.
yeah, play it out. But like I said, it's if you took the title over and nobody cared, and by cared I mean they
Mhm.
weren't trying to put out a quality book, but it's not really, you can run with it, so you can come up with some crazy idea, and probably that freed him up. Like if this is all like inside this guy's head, inherently right away, that's somewhat more interesting than trying to pursue this multiple dimension thing.
Oh yeah, and the other joke from the comic shop, when I was checking out the one guy, the one who told the other one that it was a U, not a V. He said, "Oh yeah, he's like the one time I sat down, he's like I tried to read. He's like I read like all the new universe, like all like all at once." I was like, "Are you all right?"
Exactly. How did that affect you? Did you have to go to treatment afterwards? It's like, what happened?
Show me on the doll where Javistus touched you.
Right. Exactly. What's your pain level now after reading all the universe?
So you said like Howard was like trying to like I don't know, push you guys off, or like not be committal with like an assignment for this book.
Yeah, I mean, it took forever to and everybody was pitching him, I'm sure, with stuff.
Yeah.
And he was somewhat newly minted as an editor, I think, at that point.
And were they maybe like more protective of this new line, or was it just like you said, like everybody there was probably pitching and stories?
There was a lot of pitching, and it could also have been. I mean, the editing a new universe title was like basically kissing a Claymore mine, for a lot of like like there were a lot of people who got fired because they were editors on books, and they Shooter got dissatisfied with what they were doing. He wasn't following his vision, or the book wasn't doing well, or whatever. And there were some people who just got fired. Elliot Brown got fired. I mean, a few other people. Carlin, maybe, did Carlin get fired during the whole New Universe thing? Mike Carlin, and so it was kind of a bit of a minefield, I think. So that could have been part of Howard also, like, these are under the lens. I don't want to take a chance on these guys. So I don't like hold that against him.
Yeah, no.
It was just a weird thing where it was kind of like, there was never a sort of totally firm get out of my office and never come back, but it just was this sort of like, listen, can we do something? Can we dance? Can we buy you a dinner or a cup of coffee? What? And it just, and then, I think when he said yes to it, and we wrote the story, it even wasn't like, oh, great. It just felt like a big kind of nothing, I remember, as much as we had done it. And then we were continuing, obviously, to pitch other things and try to sell other stories through. But I never really kind of asked him afterwards, what was that all about? And now even if I asked him now, I'm sure he wouldn't remember in the least. We had, there are other things we could talk about, where we could bond over traumatic experiences, like on the Midnight Suns, that are much more fresh in our minds than this is.
So, I mean, we talked before about some of the, like the stock issues, like when you and Margaret did the West Coast Avengers fill-in.
Right.
Like the West Coast Avengers, like that's probably easier because like with Javistus, are you just like, okay, we're going to try to write like some, an issue that could fit in anywhere. But, this character is so brand new. Who knows where he's going to be 6 months from now, a year from now? Was it like more difficult?
No, I mean, I think it's the same. It's a good comparison, though. An inventory issue, a fill-in issue like this. Yeah, you don't know where it's going to fit in. You're kind of doing a bottle episode, standalone sort of storyline, and maybe when it finally does run, there's a little bit of a line that gets at it, to sort of pick up on something from a previous issue, or maybe a line that sort of leads into a next issue. But it does have to be self-contained, and that's not a problem. But that's the comparison there is, I think, as goofy as the West Coast Avengers story is, and it's very goofy, and and it's full of bad puns and, you know, the defiler rock star trope, you know, villainous, you know, rock star, interdimensional, whatever he is. But I think that's a lot more. There's actually some fun things to read in that, in the way, in my memory of it, than this. This was very flat. Like it just felt like, you know, there's very little character to the character dialogue. There was very little, you know, a lot of heavy-handed cliches, to my mind. You know, so I tried not to be like overly critical of it, but it just didn't, you know, it didn't snap at me. Like I said, except anywhere, maybe there are a couple little bits and pieces of, like when he was trying to protect people. I could see sort of future echoes of like themes that might have been in Daredevil or St. George or something like that, where we would have those, or I would have in Daredevil. But even when we did St. George, you know, there was a lot of that angsty protecting the innocent stuff. So maybe some good came out of it there, but
Well, I mean, they really didn't. I mean, again, besides the other dimensional stuff, there really wasn't a lot of backstory for this character, so they really weren't giving you a lot to play with, and he really only had like one or two supporting characters. And from issue to issue, it see, you know, at least up through 12, it seemed like, oh, is this character going to show up again? Hell if I know. You know, they might not.
True,
Maybe,
true,
yeah.
but you know, I mean, you know, it just felt like, you know, unmotivated serial killers, thrill killers, who hit up fast food restaurants, a detective in a trench coat, you know, who's got a heart of gold and you know, keeps letting it slide when the MTV guy shows up on the scene. That's probably the only really good line in it, you know, where it's like something about the MTV look or whatever.
He's calling him Bowie and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You
Yeah.
know, and you know, it feels like I said, like just so stock. Like, and I have to take responsibility for that, you know, and you know, and I'll take responsibility on Margaret's part as well, you know, like, I mean, because you know, when we wrote together, you know, it was a very much a, you know, you know, an even-handed back and forth. But I mean, we could have come up with anything, but maybe I can't remember if we pitched multiple ideas, you know, to Howard. Maybe we did, and maybe this is just the one he liked, you know, the more standard one. You know, maybe we pitched like something more creative and elaborate, and then I can blame Howard for it. But I mean,
well, again, it's so hard because it's like there's not a lot of story about, you know, after, oh hey, he's gonna try to take down this main villain and the villain's son. There's really not a lot of other story, and it's like you're not going to do that in a fill-in issue. You're going to, you know, whoever the regular writer is at the time is going to do that. So it's like they really didn't leave you much else to do.
But you could, you know, and maybe this is the maturity of, you know, like 35 or whatever years distance of you know, of thinking of it. But I mean, I could pick a situation now and have an injustice in whatever town, you know, Injustice,
yes.
You know, pick a sense of wrongdoing wherever, you know, and that could be more creative than, like I said, thrill killers and him studying it and trying to understand it, and you know, there could be a more layered fill-in story, it seems to me, than just something like this was very by the numbers. So I just and even if you do buy the numbers, you know, you can have a lot more fun with it. It doesn't feel like it was beyond our ability to do that at that point, even though we were still, you know, very raw. But I don't know, maybe it was rushed, you know, maybe it was like, you know, did it show up like on a Friday and Howard said, you're on the schedule, I need the script by Monday, you know, or something like that. But again, I'm trying to pass blame, and I'm not passing blame, you know, to sort of understand why there's no spark or anything, you know, to it in my mind, except for, like I said, the MTV line, you know, didn't seem that bad. You know?
You know what the other sad part is? Like, say some young person picks this book up in like another 10 years, are they going to be like, "What's MTV?"
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
that's true. Oh yeah, there's always things. There's so many. Yeah, references get dated.
Oh, that station that still plays ridiculousness. That one.
Yeah. Stuff
Oh.
just like kind of
They used to play that old show, The Jersey Shore.
right. Yeah, isn't that where Snooki was from? But there's no, but there was, yeah. I mean, things like that, quickly go by the wayside. But you don't know, when you write it, you don't know what you don't know. Things with, Back to the Future 2, as that, was it 2? As that awesome scene with like the fax machine, in the kitchen, where he gets fired.
In every
by
room,
fax
he had a fax machine.
Yeah, every room was a fax machine because faxes were like, oh my god, how so cool is that? And of course they're going to exist into the future.
I mean,
Everybody's gonna have one.
but there's only like 5 people in the whole office that know how to use it, and most of them are over 50.
Right, and most people are right. Yeah, doctors' offices use them, and that's about it. You get no connection to it. But yeah, so that won't hold up. So the joke doesn't even work anymore. You're right.
1987. Next year, this could be a 40-year-old issue next year.
I know. Look at that. I was trying to gain back some youth with 35.
Hey, time has no meaning anymore. I know. Like I said, the 90s feel like they're
All
5
I know
years
is
ago.
my knees hurt. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
If you got the
I was
reference,
scared that I did.
if you knew the reference to MTV in this issue, maybe take some.
Take your multivitamin and take some
Yes.
ibuprofen before you go to bed.
Bed.
That's
Yep.
right.
Yeah.
Get 8 hours of sleep.
That's
I
right.
desperately try to avoid like the peer conversations about health, all the time. Oh my God, my malady,
I know.
So if they
Well, I
rebooted
mean, what
it,
did
would you
you
want to
guys-
redo it?
What's that, Lilith?
If
What
they
was that?
rebooted this title and pitched it, would you take it? They asked you, hey,
This particular issue or the character altogether?
character altogether.
Yeah, sure. I think there's potential, in a interdimensional, vigilante, yeah. I mean, I think the sword and the shield hand were interesting, conceits. And obviously there was some background that we didn't really define here, but, from the Bible, where they weren't, they had, the energy had to be replenished or, exchanged. So he had to kind of decide between, am I doing the shield or am I doing the sword? Which is kind of an interesting thing. We didn't
Yeah,
play
like
it up,
one hand is only supposed to be able to
Yeah.
do one thing. Yeah, like one.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But he couldn't use. I remember there's one line
At
where
the
I can't
same
use
time.
the sword because I'm drained out there, or if I'm going to use this energy. So he had to decide things. So I think there's
yeah.
opportunity with a character like that.
There were some decent ideas from some of these issues. 'Cause I know in an earlier issue, like he gets one of his hands chopped off, and like he has to use his energy to like regrow his hand. But then like I think it's the sword hand, and the sword's like not like it's on the fritz half the time. It's not working right, and somebody I think from his home dimension's like, well, yeah, you've been on Earth so long, their air, their food, it's like tainted you. You're not like pure
Yeah, that
anymore.
acid rain in the 80s, pal.
Oh yeah,
Trans fats in the food.
Mhm.
If I'd known that, I would have just had like terror, pick up the hand. Or
Exactly.
Oh,
The potential for crossover.
I thought you're
Exactly.
I thought you were gonna be like he walks in this issue. Oh, my one weakness, McDonald's.
Exactly. the hand comes crawling out of the fryer. It's like or something.
I mean, look what McDonald's has done to someone else's hands. So,
Right. And they could just serve it up, and the little hand could be like eating the big arch, like nibbling on it.
Just take a little nibble. You only need a little nibble.
Oh my God,
It's so filling. Oh my gosh,
I love
it's
it.
so filling.
Marvel, you want to hit for this year and next year? Terror kills the new universe.
New
That's
universe.
it. Yes.
Yeah,
Exactly. Yeah,
Yes.
like let it run. Let it go right after it.
Terror's like,
But I mean, like I'm ripping this apart, and I think justifiably so. I mean, what was your impression reading this thing?
I only read the one issue, so I was totally lost. But
Yep.
Me too.
Yeah, there's that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
There's
This-
words.
this
There's
new
words
universe.
in
I felt
balloons.
that way about
Yeah.
New Universe all over though. Most books I was
Okay,
always just like, I
okay.
just jump in and be like,
Yeah.
okay, they
Here
tried
we
it.
go. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm with the new universe stuff. I'm like, oh, here we go. Well, I'm in. I'm in for the ride. I enjoyed this though. I didn't know a lot
Okay.
about the character. I didn't know like what his real deal was, but I really liked, like you were mentioning, the stuff with the sword, him choosing when to use the sword and when to use the shield, and having that
Mhm.
be used effectively throughout that. I really liked that, and that part at the end where he just ends up torching those two
Yeah.
Right.
gang members,
Right.
and I was like, oh, I love that. That's great. It's a great way to end it. But yeah, I was a little confused only because I didn't really read more of this. I didn't really know much about this character, but that was really where my only confusion lied.
Mm-hmm.
It's just in the unfamiliarity of the title. But I noticed with a lot of these new universe ones that the creative teams were all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
With some of them, there were different writers and artists on like the first.
That was also was the danger of it. That was, Shooter would, become displeased with, the way a story was going and demand a change, or a team would be feeling the pressure of that sort of micro editing from way above, and then they would just say, screw this, is not worth it, and they would leave. So that's another reason, there was so much, of that change that you saw.
Yeah, the one title I remember that I read from beginning to end that suffered, I think the most from that was Spitfire and the Troubleshooters. Like,
yeah,
I can't remember how many writers and how many artists that thing had over the course of 13 issues.
Yeah,
but it started out one way and completely ended another way, and I was confused throughout the whole thing.
That was I mean, that's the one that got Elliot fired. That was Elliot was on that. Elliot had co-created it with Jack Morelli, I think.
Oh, right.
And that was I wasn't part of the whole background on that, so I don't know. But I imagine with all that change, it was probably like, this team doesn't know what they're doing, get rid of them, and this team doesn't know what they're doing, get rid of them. And from above, that type of micro attention made it very, very stressful. Plus the books were then behind the eight ball in terms of the schedule. There was a lot of pressure externally and internally, for these things to launch on time, and then they would have been missing deadlines and schedules. So yeah, it was not a happy time for folks working on those books.
So
seems like it was stressful.
So is Mark on DP7 the only person who made it from the beginning to the end of a series?
Probably,
issues, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's because it was also
Side
Mark.
Force went 32 as well.
Yeah, but was it the same writer the whole time?
I think so. Hold on.
No, didn't Fabian take that over at one point?
Oh, did he?
Or,
Okay.
I can't remember.
But I know that Archie Goodwin did most of Night Mask, I think, if I remember right.
All right. This is a joke. I know this isn't true, but I was going to say, yeah, Jim Shooter was so rough he kicked himself off Starbrand at some point.
Yeah. Well,
get him out of here.
The awfulness, of people's relationship, with Jim, was such that, and I wasn't there for this, but this is what I heard, and I'm, 95% sure it's true, is that, when he was fired, there was a party, and they, they basically created like a Jim Shooter scarecrow stuffed with Starbrand issues, and burned it, so, which is horrible, but.
That's harsh.
Greg told us a funny story, because Jim was so big sometimes. I don't know if he was trying to intimidate people with his height, and he said, or was it Mark Grunwald had a platform built in his office?
Oh, he did.
So,
He built a desk on platforms in his office so that they were, and Greg was, I don't know if they built the platform with Howard or with Greg, but when you sat at your desk or at their desk in that office, sitting, you were taller than Shooter. So
I
you
love
know,
that.
so
I
when
love
when
that.
he would come into the office, they would just be sitting on this platform, and then you know, and they had designed it, so that they looked like it was like a space saving measure because their art files
Yeah, he said they had like
were
files
were,
underneath and
were
stuff.
underneath the
Yeah.
platform, or so it was like, oh look, we saved
Can
space
I
in
get
the
the
office.
plans for that? I need something like that for my
Yeah.
office.
I can't remember if there was actually. I don't know if there was a trap door in it too. There might have been a trap door in it where they could sort of like then hide.
Oh yeah, I think you said.
So
I
if
think
they
you said
saw-
Mark hid in there at least
Yeah,
once
so
when the
if
Shooter
they
was
saw
looking
a
for him.
Shooter
Yeah.
coming or somebody, they could go into the
Mr.
trap
Burns'
door.
mansion.
Yeah, and then hide beneath the platform, until,
No, I definitely need that with the trap door. I need it.
Yeah.
That's so good.
Well, that's the thing. If they were the same height as Shooter sitting down on that platform, no one else was bothering them.
Oh no, they were
Hey,
taller
guys.
than Shooter. They specifically
Oh.
made it so when you sat down, when you sat, you were above Shooter. So that was an
Power
absolute
move.
given for that.
See, those creators today, they don't have that kind of fun anymore.
No, Marvel had a lot of fun. There was a lot of stuff. So I once when Greg went away on vacation, and I think I got real props from Grunwald for this. We went like I think the day before he came back, we took everything out of his desk drawers and then lined them with plastic, like garbage bags, and then filled them with water and fish. So when he got back, he opened his desk drawer and reached in and and then so Grunwald thought that was pretty impressive. Which to get like props from Mark Grunwald for a prank was.
Oh yeah, wasn't he a big prankster? Yeah.
Yeah. That was pretty. He was like, oh, that's pretty good. So.
Yeah, because all those new creators now, don't most of them work from home? I mean, maybe some people go in the office.
Well,
but
creators or editors?
Creators like writers, art.
Well, creators and they always work from home. I mean,
okay.
There was nobody. I mean, people would come into the office to visit, but and then there was people who were on editorial. The editorial staff who also wrote obviously were in the office. Like Peter David worked in sales. But Peter David was also writing. Mark Grunwald was an editor, but he was, writing. But anybody else, pick your person. Walt Simonson, Bernie Wrightson, Starlin. Nobody was in the office except to come in to get lunch and maybe meet with an editor and do that thing. So that was the bullpen folks. Were there, but the bullpen was always a production house. Corrections, paste ups, that sort of thing.
Or in the 90s, to come in and meet with other writers to create plot out a crossover, huh?
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, sure.
I'm thinking you and Fabian and Chuck Dixon on Dead Man's Hand.
Yeah, but that we just we just went to lunch.
Yeah, that's what you said.
Like,
Yeah,
that was us.
Lunch,
we drove that, and but the X-Men group would have usually external conferences. I think
they'd have to. There was 50 X books. They'd kind of have to.
Yeah. But that's how we also did like the original Midnight Sun stuff. We all went to a conference center, over a couple days, and all spitballed, and we were outside the environment, but we were all, well, not everybody was a freelancer, but at that point I was a freelancer, and Len Howard was off staff, and Chris Cooper was still on staff as Bobby Chase's assistant. But but yeah, very, very. There were no artists at that. That was weird. It was all writers. So
I wonder why the new universe, it's no secret, it was kind of a failure, and I always wondered why.
Yeah,
I feel like after the Black event, it really took a nosedive in some of the books that I was reading.
Well, I think we're touching on a lot of that, and I wasn't, involved. So I mean, there's people who are much more closer to the orbit around it. But I mean, you got books with inconsistent teams, editorial pressures that aren't, that are driven by stress and fear.
None of it's connected to the regular Marvel universe.
That's why I liked it. That's why I picked it up initially.
You can't gain. Right, you can't gain momentum, when there's not a regular, team. There's a lot of animus, because it had been Jim Shooter's baby, and people resented that, and then they resented Shooter, and even the it's petty shit too. I mean, it was like the thing in Starbrand where
Yeah, I was gonna say this is why I don't like Quasar or
well, when
a couple
when
of
they
people for those reasons.
was it, but they blew up,
Yeah, put it in his
didn't
lab
Byrne
world.
take it over, and
Yeah,
Byrne
blew up
blew
Pittsburgh.
Oh
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pittsburgh,
the
Pittsburgh was,
Pittsburgh.
right. Well, I mean, Shooter was from Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like that was, and he had a lot of affection for Pittsburgh, and that was, look, here's another like dig. That kind of stuff is, petty and childish. That's but somebody got their jollies out of it, and when you're doing things like that, you're driving stories for that reason. They don't hold up.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's there was a potential in it, I think, but folks didn't want to commit to it.
Yeah, they tried it back in 2006 to kind of at the anniversary time, and nobody still bit. So it's unfortunate.
Well, I
Some
think
of those were good starting off points again.
well, some of these too. Well, I mean, these original ones are from the late '80s, and then the comics industry is about the boom, so people are getting other opportunities too. Because I think right after DP7, Mark jumps right on Quasar,
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
which I think
Well, right, but Mark had, Mark could have worked on anything.
he was doing that. He was doing Captain America. He was
Sure.
probably editing, and yeah. But I'm just saying, if it's like, okay, you can do it's like you could do a new universe title, or say, hey, we need someone on the third Spider-Man book. People are probably like, oh well.
Right.
Well, right, exactly that too, right? Nobody, and once it sort of lost any cachet it had. Oh, look, it's a new universe, and it's going to get all this promotional thing, and it's going to be something big, and it's going to be something new. Once it became clear it was messy and narratively broken, and was sort of semi-toxic to full Chernobyl or whatever, then people don't want to play, and they're not going to. I think you saw some of that on like something more recently, from my understanding, on some aspects of like the new 52, at DC at one point. There was a lot of turnaround, and people, starting on a title, and then they'd be half an issue in, and then they'd say, forget this, I'm not doing it. And they'd walk
Never
off.
forgive, never forget. May Batman Incorporated rest in peace. All 7
Oh
issues.
yeah, yes.
God. But no, yeah, I think I heard a story. It might have been Fabian. Speaking of, was it Legion of Superheroes or something? And I think he wanted out by like the second or third issue, and they begged.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, they're like, can you at least stay for the first arc? And I guess they talked him into
and he was like,
I'm
out. Yeah.
Wow.
Right, there's horror stories. Yeah.
And that's got to be, a really bad situation when you think about it, because this is your livelihood. This is what you're doing.
Oh, yeah.
This is how you make your living, and and so for it to be so, again, I'll just use the word toxic, and disagreeable, to say no, I'd rather not work on anything than work on this. It's got to be pretty bad.
Yeah. But, and again, this is a stupid thought. Of course, it's coming from me. But do you think, do you think that maybe someone at Marvel was just like, oh, we don't want like different imprints at the same time? Because again, like Epic's coming up.
Specifically, the sales were bad.
Well,
yeah,
that's
so bad that they, they had to cancel 4 books right off the bat, and then just kept going down. So.
Right. And I think something like DP7 was, existed longer because it was doing better, but also because it had Mark's
consistency,
consistency and commitment to quality. And, but if it had fallen, way down, then I'm sure that would have been a pressure. But people knew it was Mark's baby, and it was a pretty good book, as I recall, because, Mark put the time and, effort into it. And never looked at it as like an also ran. It was like, this is a storyline I want to explore.
And again, I mean, he was a great storyteller, but too, it's probably the most consistent book, because he was probably the only one who lasted through the whole run.
Right. Yeah, but he had vision. I think he created that one too. So so that was again his thing.
But that was my point. It's just like, like Lil said, sales are going down. The Epic line's coming. So are they just like, okay, let's just like put the new universe to rest and like concentrate on Epic and stuff?
No, there was no Epic wasn't acknowledged by Marvel ever at all. Epic had no influence on the new universe whatsoever. Epic was Epic was, within the Archie Goodwin protective zone, and then once Archie was out, then Epic was gone and forgotten. So I mean, even though it existed, some of the titles, I mean, we could do a whole thing on Epic, but
We should. I
that
love
that
it.
that was that was once those titles got scattered, even though there were some individuals, Carl Potts included, who became the editor in chief of Epic, but once it didn't have that, I guess, protective identity, then it just became stuff, and you could put Epic on as many books as you want, but it no longer had that same sense of identity, and depending on what office it was in, I would say sense of quality either.
So basically, you just needed someone up top that
that cared.
Yeah, like New Universe was Shooter's baby, or Epic was Archie's. So
and Jim Shooter, I think Jim Shooter believed in the Epic stuff, but he also had respect for Archie, and Shooter was a big advocate for Epic. He was a very, very strong advocate for creator-owned books and more eclectic comics, and say what you will, and people have and will continue to do so, about his story sensibilities or his rigid stuff. But we never got any of that.
I mean, he had a vision, so.
Yeah, but it's not like he came in and said Moonshadow needs to be this, or Boz Chronicles needs to be that, or any of that stuff. He never, probably wouldn't have dared say to Archie, but so.
We should definitely do an Epic retrospective. I would like that very much.
Yes, me too. That's
not anytime soon. I gotta finish up my research, but give me at least 3 months.
Well, that's probably a good segue. Well, next time. Next time, we talked the first 2 issues a while ago. Me, Dan, and Lilith. But Justin wanted to talk this, so next time we're gonna do issue 3 of Dr. Zero.
Yes.
Oh, cool. Well, that's where,
Yes.
I mean, 2 on, it really hits its stride. So, yeah, I'm always happy to talk Dr. Zero.
So we'll do,
Zero.
because I think we talked the first 2, so we'll talk number 3. Yeah, because again, out of nowhere, Justin just asked me. He goes, "Have you guys ever talked Dr. Zero with him?" So
yeah, that'll be fun. I will.
Did you tell him to scroll down?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know the search bar? And it's,
that's right, kids. You can go to our YouTube channel and go right to the playlist for the Chichester Chats.
Exactly. Yeah, that'd be fun. I think. Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't trying to cut anyone off. I figured that was a good segue. Yeah.
No, I'm trying to get to the bottom of what's new with Dan. I know.
Yeah, we want that new stuff.
New stuff.
When's Demetrius releasing that new stuff?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's tough.
Release the Chichester cut.
We were talking, just the other day about
release the Unnamed Barbarian book.
Yeah, I think it's called Skullbound now. I think
What is it?
I think he finally committed to Skullbound.
Skullbound,
which is a pretty good title, and fits well. The issues, all 5 issues are finished. The coloring, the art, it looks great. I've actually written the 2nd volume. I wrote 5 issues of a 2nd volume, so he has those. But he hasn't gotten back to me. I'm hoping he likes them, but he's still not, clear on his distribution because of the, Diamond and everything else. So, I mean, it doesn't make sense to kind of like, he doesn't know where to go with it. We're talking about different options, from crowdsourcing distribution to whatever else, but that's just me spitballing with him. But I'm excited about it. I think it's very cool, and the fact he wanted a 2nd volume, was neat, and I'm happy with the way that turned out, as well. So that's somewhere in the works. The Alien one is with him, for him to start when he wants. But they kind of exist in a little like alternate universe with Justice, I guess, at this point. Until they become real. I'm working with a game developer, independent game developer, who wants to do a prequel comic. Guy I met at Dragon Con, who wants to do a prequel comic to his game. So he's developing this game with this kind of magic, universe, not Magic the Gathering, but sort of a magic infused universe. And so he wants to do a prequel comic leading into that. So that's a kind of an interesting thing that I've just kind of started in on, trying to pull his pieces of story lore together and turn them into a comic. And just doing actually like a lot of prose work at the moment, just writing a lot of stuff that for a horror collection I want to come out with toward the end of the year, which will include that Dan Brereton story I think I mentioned, and it's that Dan Brereton's collecting some horror stories, and that'll give enough of a window between when he's going to come out with it and then me putting that story into some other with some other ones I've been working on, and which will include actually an Axel's Infernal short story. There you go. And then that's all finished. Yeah. And I just got all the lettering back for issue 2 from Pat Rousseau. And now I just have to like put it together. I just contacted the printer, looked at the printing costs, looked at the post office costs.
Which has gone up and up. Hopefully you got that price locked in.
Yeah, well, I don't think you can do that unless
Yeah.
But
I'm sure you'll have extra bonuses for those too.
Yep. I think we're going to do some. We looked at some different things. Maybe I think we're going to do some bookmarks and like trading cards and a few other like little goodies. But and I actually might include like a short story as well as like another gimmicky thing. But we're not going to over gimmick it. I just want to get the book out, and I would hope that happens by the summer. I'm just like swamped with some other things, but it is done. And like I said, it's all lettered, and I just have to go through and, lay it out, scope it out, make sure Carl's resizing all fits. And I actually have to print out some more copies of number 1 because I'm out of copies, and I have to, one of the things we'll offer is like, you can get issue 1 and 2 if you didn't get issue 1. But, so that's all working out. And then I've got another GalaxyCon Memorial Day weekend in Oklahoma City. So that'll be coming up as well before I know it.
Yeah. This year's shroom.
But
yes, exactly.
But yeah, just bombard me when stuff starts coming out. Let me know. We'll share it on the social media.
Excellent. Yeah. Excellent.
I feel like we're gonna eat good, Lilith. At some point, all his projects are gonna drop at the same time. We're just gonna be like, boom, boom,
at
boom,
one
boom.
point, I think Demetrios was sort of hoping, before Diamond kind of imploded. I think that was sort of his plan. He was going to land a risk, and then he was going to follow it up with the Skullbound thing, and I think he had sort of a scheme of like playing them out, but that's out of his control, and he's trying to like work through the details on it, but. As I said, the stuff looks great, and I think it'll be very impressive, once it kind of gets out there. So,
damn it, I lost my bet. I thought that Barbarian book he was going to go with the meta title and just call it Unknown Barbarian.
That would work too,
or Unnamed Barbarian.
I kept trying to push for the Prince of Pain and Suffering, but he didn't bite that one, But I think I got the line.
This isn't a political book.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so
that's that. Yeah, so that's what's going on. So yeah.
And if people want updates, follow you on social media. Go to Story Maze, right?
Yeah, Story Maze has been fallow, but I'm gonna re-kick it, and I think I'm gonna start to, release some of these prose works, in pieces through that to sort of like play some things out. Now that I have. Enough of them, but I'll also be doing I'm re-editing the Street Writers tips that I put together as an ebook, which I hadn't done before.
Oh, cool.
You have the print one, Justin, I know. And but I'm going to do an ebook version, which I had not done earlier, so I'm reformatting it for that, which will broaden its readership from probably 12 to 24 perhaps, but it's good, rereading it, it's like, oh, these are good tips. I'm learning. I'm like, oh, I should do that more often, as I'm reading it.
If you're watching this video, barcode upper left corner.
Yeah,
Yes.
there you go.
Go buy the book right
There
there.
it is. Order your copy now.
Right. Or wait until I got the ebook, and then it'll be
Oh,
right.
there you go.
Whatever you want to
Just
do.
remember, they can't take your books out of your cold dead hands. They can change ebooks. I'm just saying. I'm a proponent
Yeah.
for having things
Oh
in
yes,
your hands now.
the print
No,
copies. They
there's
cannot
truth
change
to
it
that.
once it's in
There's
your
truth
hands.
to that.
Yeah.
But whatever's
You know,
easiest and gets people reading as well, you know?
Right.
Hey,
I
the
mean,
best solution: buy both. Buy it in each. You buy it in
That's
each
right.
version.
Cover all the bases.
They
Yeah.
should offer something like that. You'd think if you could
Like
buy
a package deal. Yeah.
Yeah, but like at a discount, buy the
Mhm.
print and the
Buy the print.
ebook and
Buy the
get it.
print. Get
Get
the ebook like 50% off or something. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm sure
Now we
I'm
just
sure we won't do
gave
that.
Bozo an idea. Great, Phil. Great.
Yeah. No, he'll double the price if it'll be reverse capitalism.
Double. Now
Buy them both, and we'll insert a bad commercial in the middle of the ebook for
Every 5 minutes.
yeah, exactly. there's no there's no logic to the fucking algorithm like for these things. You think a company built on
Search.
gigantic servers and information could customize things in a better
Yeah.
way. Like I'll suck up the commercials. There's no excuse, no way around that. But I'm literally watching this. There's this pretty good crime thriller on that just came out with Chris Hemsworth called like Crime 101, and it's
Mhm.
this really tense, almost like old school Thomas Crownish, crime thing. It's got Mark Ruffalo in it, and Chris Hemsworth, and real quality, tense thing. And you're watching it, and then suddenly, like, boom, out of nowhere, no like end of a scene, you just get like a 30
Is that
second
the one
spot.
where they're watching Invincible?
Well, I was gonna say you just suddenly get a spot for like adult diapers, and then like this really tense thing, adult diapers, boom, and then right back to it. But there's no like moment, at least in the old days, commercial breaks would come at the end of a scene or
Yeah.
the end of
this
an
little
act or
fade
something.
out.
Right now they just sort of like boom, just happen anywhere,
Yeah.
slot it in.
It's
and it
jarring.
has no
Yeah.
right.
Oh my God.
No
My
logic for me.
algorithm that recommended me the novella, so I read that
Okay.
first.
Okay.
Oh my God, I was listening to a podcast, was it a week or so ago, and like they put a commercial in. They cut someone off in the middle of a sentence.
That's what I mean.
Oh,
There's no
wow.
logic.
AI
Yeah.
inserting commercials, by the way, when that happens.
Yeah.
Well, you think it would be able to find, no, but that's perfectly reasonable for sociopathic AI. It's like I'm so I'm so you're so right. I did do an idiot thing there. Thank you for calling that to my attention. It's like all right. Well,
Well, on that note,
on that note,
all
all right. So
Lilith is so
Dr.
right.
Zero.
Yes,
Yes.
Dr. Zero number 3 next time. Yes.
All right. Very good. Well, guys, thanks for a great Wednesday.
Thank
And
you, sir.
Thank you.
I hope
Yeah, it was fun
everyone
as
stays
always.
well and sane and all other good things. And enjoy your, your $6 gas and all the other great perks we
Oh,
have
yeah.
for,
Dystopian paradise.
One day,
vacation.
one day we'll have Javistus in this world. One day.
Exactly. Where will
We need
Javistus come?
Javistus now more than ever.
Yeah. See? Awesome. All right, folks. Be good.
Take
Take care.
Wow.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Well, Lilith, we've added another word to the Capes and Lunatics lexicon.
I need it on a shirt. Make sure it's a hard V.
Whoa!
Oh no, that's a drop. Isn't it?
That's a new drop, you know it is.
What your nickname?
Oh no!
What your nickname in high school? What?
Sober today. What the heck? I'm on my best behavior.
Didn't they call that? Didn't they call you that in high school? The hard V. But no, Javistus will live in the Capes and Lunatics Hall along with words like chameleon.
Oh.
That's what we got. Oh yeah, that's one of the
You
games.
still got that board game, don't you?
I got it. Yeah, along with atmosphere. When we all get together, we're gonna have to play chameleon.
Atmosphere, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I got atmosphere on
Oh,
with,
that's
the,
gold
with the
right
DVD.
there.
Oh,
I've got exploding kittens I can bring. That's a really good game too.
That is a good one.
but yeah, chameleon was fun.
But obviously, we have to play Uno and Monopoly because we have to get into a fight and we have to record it.
It's like, here, let's play Monopoly. Who's gonna flip the table first?
Place your bet.
Me. My bet's on me.
We have a
If
couple.
I'm playing Monopoly, that table's getting flipped.
We have a couple versions of
I'll
it.
teach you how to play the speed round. It's okay. Got a whole bunch of rules, but yeah, Uno and Monopoly. Yeah.
Hey,
You know what though? Dominoes and spades for good order too.
I might have to
We
buy.
can start a fight.
I might have to buy a new one anyway. But I do have Spider-Man and Batman Uno. So
All right.
Well, I'm bringing my Barbie Uno. Okay.
Okay. We'll do a little bit of everything.
Barbie Uno, man, that bitch got everything.
Exactly.
All right, I'm going to.
You gonna do our shameless plugs?
Yes,
or-
well, first I was going to do the schedule here. So, yes, next month. So, yeah, next month with Dan, we'll talk Dr. Zero number 3.
But until then,
But yes, next time. Oh, yes. We're going to do another Silver Age. Oh, no. We already did that. Never mind. The Flash episode, Lilith, we did.
yeah.
So with the Silver Age Flash, the first appearance of Barry Allen, and we did talk some new books like The Fury of Firestorm number 1. But then,
Yeah, he definitely had a fury. Spoilers.
yes.
If you haven't read it.
All right, but the episode after that, which will be the next one we record, it'll be the next Electric Superman episode where we cover the Grant Morrison JLA 5 through 9.
I can't wait to hear thoughts on that one. Thoughts and prayers, my friends.
I
Thoughts
can't-
and prayers.
Can't wait to see Kristen's head explode.
Oh, man.
That's gonna be her first time, I think, going through that.
Oh wow.
Wait, the key did what?
Exactly.
Superman's wrestling an
It's
angel.
going to
What?
be fun.
And then yes,
Grant Morrison, the only author that makes a sober person think, wait, did I take something? Did somebody slip me a Mickey?
a Mickey of knowledge.
On this paper in this comic book.
Don't lick the pages, kids.
Yeah.
Then after that, yes, just for Justin, we're gonna do Batman Dark Patterns 4 through 6, which is a Scarface-ish story.
Oh, there we go. Yeah.
Don't talk to me until there's a Calendar Man issue.
Oh God.
Or Kite Man, even better, Kite Man. I want
Crazy
obscure.
Crazy Quilt.
Yeah, you know what? Why not?
And then yes, we'll round out this month with the Green Lantern episode that Will and I recorded on Green Lantern issue 600. And speaking of Grant Morrison, the Green Lantern 5 through 8.
The
Yes.
the definitive article.
All about the Hal Jordan. All right. Oh, and yeah. All right. So yes, so that's all that is coming up. Make sure to send in your thoughts in. Send in your thoughts in there for next month for Dr. Zero. All right. So
I'm so
yeah.
excited for that. Oh,
Oh yeah. I just remember the first time he has such a passion for that epic stuff.
Yeah.
yeah, I love Dr.
We'll have to do Shrek at some point.
Somebody once. Oh, not that one.
No.
As a millennial, that is
Different
the
one.
only Shrek I shall recognize.
Don't get. All right. So yeah. So send.
Get out of my Schwab.
Too bad we can't drain it. All right, kids. So yeah, send us your thoughts. Email us CapesandLunatics@gmail.com or call the voicemail 614-382-2737. That's 614-38-CAPES. And remember, you can find us on pretty much all social media: Reddit, TikToks. We got the Substack, just like Dan Chichester. We got the Substack, so go follow us.
We're everywhere.
Yes. All right, and you can help support us by buying merch at TeePublic and Spring, Capes and Lunatics, Podfather Phil, Lost Library of Legends.
That's right, brand new.
That's right. You want to keep that Dr. Light and Maxima content coming. You better
Yes.
buy some.
Maxima may or may not be relevant.
Oh,
I
that's
saw that.
right.
I saw that. Yeah.
Hootie on
Panic in the sky, anyone?
Hootie's on it, kids. Hootie's on it. Oh yeah. Oh, we might take 2 bites of that apple because yes, Justin and I did talk some Panic in the Sky, but we said we got to get everyone together here. To
Yeah,
talk
we
some
have to.
Panic in
Yeah,
the
we have
Sky.
to get the whole group for that one.
Because again, everyone's
that
DC
one's
characters are in there. I mean,
Yeah,
got
that's gold.
Green Lanterns and Nightwings in
And all
there.
hands meetings.
Nightwing.
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty much.
somebody's favorite characters in there.
Yep.
Batman, my favorite character.
You knew I'd do it.
It wasn't me this time.
It was me, Rick. And of course, the easiest way, the best way, in Lilith Hellfire's opinion, is just rain the money on us through the Cash App link.
We need the money. Gimme.
We need the gas money. Come on.
Oh, true. All right, so just rain money on us through the Cash App link, and go to Patreon. Again, not only will you get at least one exclusive uncensored episode every month, which this month, I am going to be like a listener, because it is going to be the Lilith and Justin 420 Spectacular. So
Weed Whackers Chronicles issue 1. Maybe a one shot, maybe not. Let us know.
Volume 1, issue 1.
Forget Agents of Smash. You guys are the Weed Whackers.
Agents of Puff Pass.
Agents of THC.
Oh my Lord! You guys are well. Yeah, get that T-shirt. Get that T-shirt. Man, my regular camera keeps like blurring out on me.
Phil's gonna take Charlie's place and be topless during our
Yes.
Oh my God.
Representation.
Oh my God. Our last Secret Wars 2 episode dropped today, Justin. I was re-listening to that. Yeah, last time when we recorded the last Secret Wars 2 episode, Lilith, I said, yeah, just to honor Charlie, every Secret Wars 2 episode, Justin and I should be topless. And I said,
get Danielle's permission first, please.
Yeah, right.
And I said, yeah, we'll all be topless for those. And I said, that'll doubly make sure Lilith don't show up for no Secret Wars 2.
No stumbling in drunk on that one, boy.
So not only do we get fun like that, exclusive episode every month, but you'll get these regular
what's the count?
Oh God, I don't know.
Check it, hurry!
What, the YouTube?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I swear sometimes we get a box, it'll go up and then it'll come down one. We are at 978.
Wow. Oh my word.
We are 20.
Mama's gonna have to be on her bed. Eve Heavenwater might have to come take my place. I might have to go take a picture.
We're 20. Yeah, we're 22.
I might only be able to show up on the Patreon. I don't know.
Yeah. We are 22 subscribers away from Lilith Hellfire having the
I
play by
wish
the
we
rules.
could like find out who the 1,000th subscriber was and send them a no prize.
Oh yeah, because I don't think you could tell just looking at it. Yeah, but yeah, I would send somebody a prize.
There should be a way. Dear YouTube, work on that.
Yeah.
Or I've never been at 1,000 before. Maybe I'll be like, hey, here's your 1,000th subscriber.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah, we should do that.
Well, if we can, we will.
We figure it out.
Figure it out.
So also, like I said, you get all our regular episodes early. So you could have had this entertaining episode early if you subscribe to the Patreon. And again, the best value for your money, the only safe legal way to tell Lilith Hellfire what to do.
Shut up, Phil.
Because when you subscribe, you can't suggest topics for us to talk about. So go, run, don't walk, and go subscribe to Patreon. Go to patreon.com/CapesandLunatics.
Fucking crazy.
Talk about crazy. All right. And of course, you can always find Justin on the Lost Library of Legends.
Yes.
So.
And I'm excited about Maxima, my girl Maxima.
Yes.
Making her big debut on the big screen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, make sure you find that Lost Library of Legends, kids.
Yes. You can get the T-shirt thanks to Phil.
That's right.
Brand new design.
Get your T-shirt.
Support your local wildlife.
That's right.
Woohoo.
Support your local feathered friends.
That's right, kids. Get their T-shirt to wear over your big guns while you're listening to Lost Library of Legends.
Yes, and show me pictures of you wearing the T-shirt, especially if you're fit.
Especially if you're a young, fit gentleman between the ages of 21 and 35.
Blonde.
That was a little Hellfire for a change.
Boost. But we're
Yes.
living in a dystopian nightmare. Your pal
So-
Liel needs a serotonin boost every day.
Yeah, send your pictures, fans, and to Justin, and especially if you're,
Blonde biscuit with big old
Oh,
guns.
God, yeah.
you know, or would you welcome some pictures of some
Seacock.
Some Namor cosplayers, please. Yes.
I think Lilith almost fell out of her chair.
He exploded and got a bunch of magic all over them.
As you do. As you do.
Just
If you do it right anyway.
Lilith Hellfire just said, "Yeah, just don't get any of that magic in my face." All right.
Exactly.
Not in the face.
Jeez.
It's rough, it's coarse, it gets It's coarse, it's rough, it gets everywhere. I didn't know Lilith was a villain. There were signs. There were signs. I don't need a penis making a fashion statement.
All right, kids, come back next time for Capes and Lunatics and another. This has been another episode of the Chichester Chats
Chichester Chats.
for quality.